Hey Flosstube, it's Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche. I'm back for a video after another long break. Sorry, I've actually recorded this once and then deleted it because, I don't know, I got too critical of how I was doing. We're in a different space. This is my kitchen. So they're still sleeping upstairs, and I just figured it'd be easy for me to get this done before I go grocery shopping. It is November 26th, and we've made it through Thanksgiving. So I host Thanksgiving for my dad's side of the family for the past few years. This year we had a smaller group. We only had 49 family members show up, but it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. It was great to see some cousins I haven't seen in a long time. But then the kitchen's clean afterwards, so that's always nice. But we had a really good time, and I'm always thankful to be able to see family members. Some I haven't seen since probably 7 years, some of them even longer than that. So it was a great Thanksgiving. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving as well. I'm going to try to keep this short because, like I said, I have to go grocery shopping. Had Thanksgiving and we had food on every portion of that counter and all this counter and all where you're sitting and all the way over there, but they ate it all. There weren't very many leftovers. We had 3 turkeys and there was hardly anything left, so there were some hungry people, I guess. I'm sorry I look kind of old and bedraggled, but it's Sunday morning and I'm going grocery shopping and I'm tired, so I'm just slouchy today. But what I want to do is kind of go over the retreat that I went to, which you may know about because Teresa at Kitten Stitcher has talked about it, and some finds we were lucky to get at the Cross Stitch Peddler, and then kind of some progress because I've had some finishes and I've had some really good progress on some of my projects. So first, the retreat. Back in September, I recorded a video and talked about going to a retreat, Katrina Boy's retreat, and this was in, where did we go? Was it in Memphis? Yeah, it was in Memphis with my sister Bridget and our friend Lisha. And while we were there, Katrina was just talking about all the other retreats she was having, and she mentioned that she was going to have one in Pigeon Forge in November, and that some people that I would be excited to meet would be there. And I was like, please, Katrina, let me come to that retreat. And she's like, well, it's full, but, you know, I'll let you know. I mentioned this a lot throughout the weekend, and then Katrina started thinking about inviting Teresa to do a trunk show. And so I'm like, well, I'll give you her name and number and everything, and I'll just not go. But eventually someone canceled, and I was able to come to the retreat as well. So I was very excited. Plus, it was exciting to see Teresa being able to show her designs and actually design a new project for Katrina's retreat. So I know that Lori at Mischievous Stitches has shown the completed project, and it's beautiful. Lori did a great job, and she stitched that extremely fast. I mean, Lori's a fast stitcher. But it was the best retreat. I had so much fun. Of course, I love Katrina. Katrina's like, we joke that she's a long-lost sister because we have a lot in common. I just think she's wonderful. And hopefully she'll make Flosstube videos soon. But I was able to meet a lot of really nice people. I met Vanna. Hey Vanna, which I love Vanna. I've known Vanna for years. We've kind of communicated through the interwebs over the course of many years, but I got to meet her in person, and she's exactly like she is on her videos, which is wonderful, hilarious. I have to say she's, you know, we're both scientists, so it was great to hear her talk about science, like cryptobiology. She's really into cryptobiology, and she even talked about geology with fault slips and things like that. It really was amusing. Not quite sure why, but it was amusing with her discussion of fault slips and slip and faults and things like that. So very, you know, intellectual discussions going on at the retreat. But Vanna's a sweetheart. She is exactly like you would think. She's willing to help people. She's always sharing ideas. She's hilarious, like I said. Just really enjoyed meeting her in person. I wish we could have spent a little more time talking, but we had to get some stitching done. Some other people that I met, there were a lot of floss tubers and other people that don't have videos, but everybody was super sweet. That was probably the best group of people that I've been at a retreat with. Everybody got along. Everybody listened to everybody's story. Everybody commented nicely on other people's stories. It was just really great. So I was fortunate enough to meet Lori from Mischievous Stitches. She sat next to me, and she's an amazing person. She is super nice. I mean, she has a wonderfully sweet voice. She's very supportive, very interested in what you're saying. You know, she's a good person. So I was so happy to get to meet her and get to know her a little bit better. I have all my threads in a basket, all of my floss, fancy floss in a basket, and it's set between me and Lori, and she was giving me a hard time most of the weekend about my floss basket. One point I have them all on loops, on the little thread drops and on the little rings, and she even picked up a couple of them and used them as pom-poms to cheer me on as I was finishing a project. So she's hilarious. Another person who sat at the same table with us was Patricia. She doesn't have Flosstube, but she is super smart. I really enjoyed talking to her biology information. And again, so supportive and sweet, just the nicest people. Sandra was also at our table, very generous stitcher, very sweet person as well. And then, of course, Nessie Ray, or Vanessa, sat at the same table. And then sitting next to me was my buddy Katrina, who I love. And then across from me was Teresa, my stitching bestie. So, and actually, I'm in the kitchen. One of the reasons I'm getting it all prepared, because we're going to make cookies. We're going to be like Vanna and make those iced sugar cookies, or at least we're going to try. So that's one of the things I have to pick up at the grocery store, is the supplies for our cookie adventures today. So wish us luck. In addition to those, I also got to meet Yvonne from the Idle Stitcher. I was lucky enough to get her ornament in the ornament exchange, and I forgot to bring it down, but I will show it on another video. It is perfectly finished. It is like better than you can imagine. I mean, the colors are perfect, the decoration, she did a phenomenal job. And I will figure out how to put a picture of it in here as well. So this is where I'm putting a picture. And Yvonne she is amazing. I mean, she finished several projects, I think, while we were there, and she's a sweetheart as well. I actually sat next to her at one of the meals and got to know her a little bit better, and she's a classy lady. I just really enjoyed talking to her. Dina from Making Life Count, I think that's the name of her video, she was there as well, and she's a very elegant woman. She stitched on Autumn Quakers from Rosewood Manor, I think, and her stitching is beautiful. She's very sweet. I had breakfast with her one day, and she's very, very intelligent, very sweet person. Sitting right behind me was Joanna. Joanna, again, super sweet. You know, Southern women, we're sweet. Some of us a lot sweeter than others, but Joanna was super nice. We did a Dirty Santa exchange, and I put together a box of things that I learned from Flosstube. So like a Snag Nabbit, Thread Heaven, the little ammo box to keep your Krynic in, a Vanna project bag. It included one of the double-sided, double-sided containers that we all put our DMC in now. Just in things that needle minders. Things that I've learned since I started watching Flosstube, and Joanna was the winner of that. And then also included a bottle of honey from Our Bees, just because it was a bee box, and I felt like that would be appropriate. Also, Vanna was sitting next to Joanna. I met Renee from Nostalgic Needle, and her voice is so sweet. When I heard her, I thought it was one of my coworkers, because she sounds just like one of the ladies that works in our department. turned around and obviously it wasn't her. And I'm like, you sound just like one of my coworkers. And she was so nice. She's a sweetheart. I didn't realize that was her first retreat. She fit in. She was like she knew what she was doing. Stephanie was there. I think it's Stephanie. She was quiet. She didn't talk as much as everyone else. But she was doing a lot of video, shooting a lot of video. I can't remember the name of her Flosstube, so I'm sorry. And then I met Dina from Half Stitch Cross Stitch, and she has the best laugh. She kept us all happy because she just would laugh and laugh. And then, of course, I met Marlene from By the Lake, Stitching by the Lake. And she is exactly what everybody describes. She is the calmest, centered person you can meet. She makes you calm and she helps you figure out how to get centered just by being around her. It was an honor to meet her. I sent her a message just to let her know. She probably didn't realize it, but she made a big impact on me because she just helped me kind of see what's important. So very, very good time. And there were several other ladies sitting at another table, and I never made it over there to talk to them, and I am sorry. They were super sweet. They were funny when we did the Dirty Santa exchange. They were all into it, and just everybody was in a really good mood. Thank you, Katrina, for hosting a wonderful retreat. I can't wait till the next one. I've signed up for 3 more already because I love going to Katrina's retreats. Plus, I love Katrina, if I haven't said that already. She is so funny. She and my younger sister are almost exactly alike. They are crazy how much they have in common. And so we just enjoy visiting with her. And as long as I can bring Bridget to many of the retreats, I think Katrina's okay with me coming because she and Bridget are like long lost twins. It's crazy how much they have in common. They can complete each other's sentences. And they were like that the first retreat we went to. It was crazy. So, all right. So all of that about the retreat. I had a wonderful time. Teresa drove the whole time, and I'm so thankful because that meant that I could stitch, and she was a trooper. On our way, we went to Cross Stitch Peddler, which was a lot out of the way. And I love Cross Stitch Peddler. It's in Decatur, Alabama. And Marlene is the shop owner, and she's super sweet and super helpful, and she's got all kinds of really great things. So I have to show Mahal. So Jessica from Schoolhouse Stitcher, look what I got this time. So some of the things I got. Prairie Moon. Teresa found a stash of Prairie Moon in the wrong place, and these are some of the things. She got 1 or 2, and then I got a couple as well. So I got Missing You, which I love the colors in this one. And I do love alphabets and birds, so that was great. And I got, where is it? Wonderland the game. And I got the red and the black, the first one. So that is so pretty. Can't wait to stitch that one. So those were 3 super finds. I got a whole bunch of other stuff, but they were normal. I've got a whole bunch of Plum Street that aren't out of print. It's just not things that I'd seen a lot. So like Stranded Jack, which I have in my Etsy shop now, but it's just a bunch of pin cushions that are Halloween but mermaid themed as well. So it's a mermaid with a hat, witch's hat, and it has a really cool well on it. So Turkey Love from Plum Street. So some of those types of things. And then also I got some of the Just Nan mice, which I love these. I think I have almost all of them now. But this is Christmas Mouse in a House. And it comes with the pattern for the little house and the mouse. And look at her. She has a little rose in her hair. Isn't that cute? And it comes with the embellishment pack. And then I also got the Halloween Haunted Autumn Mouse in a House. And again, it comes with the little house pattern and the little mouse and the embellishments. So I can't wait to stitch on those. While at the retreat, I did my normal stitch for an hour, switch to a new project. I took 11 different projects and I switched every hour to a different project. And I had some finishes. So at the retreat, I finished this one. It is from Summer House Stitch Works. It's called Caroline Behringer. And I stitched it in wools. So this is the Gentle Art wools, which I love. And when I got home, I found this. I like everybody else. I go to thrift stores, and if I find a odd-shaped frame, I buy it if it's less than $5, because these are expensive frames, and when they're odd-shaped, you might be able to find some cross-stitch piece that fits in it. This was perfect for it. I mean, the color is perfect, too. And so I framed that this morning before I did my video so that McKenna would be proud of me. I FFO'd it. So that's this. And if you haven't stitched with the wools, they are fun. You just use one strand. It's Gentle Arts Simply Wools, and I just love stitching with wools. So that was my finish at, haven't backed it. I mean, I've backed it, but I haven't put anything over that. And then when we were on the way back, I got to stitch while Teresa drove. Thank you again, Teresa, for driving. And I finished two things. So I finished this little pumpkin from one of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween issues. And the yellow is supposed to be some type of metallic, but I just used 762, I believe. And I'll finish that as a little pin cushion. And then I finished Trick or Treat Pals, another one from, I think this is 2016, Just Cross Stitch. And I love the little candy corn border there. That's so cute. And I'll finish that as a little pillow ornament as well. We did the exchange at the retreat, so I got an ornament which I forgot to bring down. I'm sorry. I'll try to get a picture of that. And we also did an exchange. I described the box that I made, and this is what I got in the Dirty Santa exchange. It's a little organizer that will sit up on the counter. And each pocket had things, so I got some, this is a little tape measure, some magnetic clips, another dressmaker's tape measure. I got some needles, a really cute pair of scissors. I got some fabric, some different charts, Christmas themed charts. Got that one. Oh, you can't see that. And then I was most excited about Country Cottage Needleworks Gingerbread House. I love that. And I also got Gingerbread Trio, but I've stitched actually the center one this year was one of my finishes. And another little kit, a couple of kits from Praiseworthy Stitches, and some DNC floss. So lots of goodies, really exciting, and I like that little container. So that was my Dirty Santa exchange. It was funny because Teresa was like, I'm going to steal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to steal. And she couldn't do it. She blamed it on her Catholic upbringing. But when it was her turn, she just freaked and went and got a new package. So she was so funny. I think Teresa had a really good time. It's been great. She brought a bunch of her models to show, and it was just beautiful setup on one of the tables. And she spent some time talking to different people about how she designs and stuff. So I think she had a good time. We can't wait for the next retreat. We're enjoying cross stitching a lot lately. I don't know if you can tell, but Teresa and I are kind of in a new groove with cross stitching. So I'll show you some of my work that I've done since the retreat. So I've stitched a little bit every day. It's the end of the semester, so it's been kind of crazy, but I have kind of done some stitching. So one of the things I stitched on for 3 days was Thine is the Trick and the Treat. And this is 6 pages. So there's 3 at the top and 3 down here. And I finished page 2. So I'm stitching this. I think this is, it's Picture This Plus something. I want to call it Alchemy, but that's not it. It's Ancient. And I'm using a black silk from Gloriana, India ink. And that's page 1 and 2 finished. It's so pretty. And I have enough of this. This is going to fit on, what is that, a fat 1/8? And I got a fat 1/4. So I also have the match to this, the No Mine is the Trick and the Treat. I'm going to stitch the second sampler on that. So that'll be pretty. I get that finished. When I get that finished. So that was one of my projects I worked on over the past week. And I figured I would show you what I'm going to work on this week. So my plan for this week, I have my whip of the day. Let me see what's going on with my computer. Okay, hope that didn't cut out, but I'm going to work on my whip of the day and then my 3-day focus. So my 3-day focus at the beginning of the week is 3 Tulips by Brenda Gervais, which I love these kind of charts. I love something that has all the alphabets scattered around. And in one of my previous videos, probably video 1, you can see over my shoulder the feather your nest with a big cardinal, similar type of design. And this is, I dropped something. This is my progress so far. So that's almost halfway. I love stitching Brenda Gervais designs. I'll also work on Christmas Tide at Holly House. This is a Scarlet House design. Let me find the cover. And I know Annette from Annette's Acre has finished this, I think. She started it after me and she's already finished. She stitches some great things too. And I just love the reindeer at the bottom here. And I have not made very much progress, but I do have a few of the trees, that upper left corner. I've got to get to the house. Once I get into stitching that house, I think things will move along a little better. So I'll work on that. My other 3-day focus is going to be this trousseau, and that's all I'm going to pronounce because I know I'll say it wrong, but it's from a French designer, Mon Ami Pierre, I don't know, but it's this, it finishes as this little book, notebook cover, and I have more than half done. I've got 3/4 of it finished, so that's the first page. And then this is how far I've gotten on the second. So I just have a little less than half to go. But I have 3 days to work on that. And it's the end of the semester, so I'll have even more time because I'm not preparing for classes. After Tuesday, my classes are done. And then we have exams the following week. So I'm so happy the semester's almost over. Oops, hold on a second. Put the pattern in the wrong place. And then the rest of the week, I just have some whips that I'm going to work on. So one of the things I'm going to pick up again is that Harvest Delivery from Plum Street. And I'm still not very far. So hopefully I'll get a little farther on that. I'll work on Cat and Mouse, which I really need to get this thing done. This might be one of the projects beginning of the year that I just plow through and get it done. So that's the Cat and the Mouse. I worked on a little bit at the retreat and got the face almost filled in. But I think next year, instead of just spending 3 days on a focus piece, I'm going to focus on it till it's finished. And that may be one of the first ones because I just love that. Oops, dropped it. I just love that one. And then also I'm going to work on 12 Days of Christmas from Satsuma Street. And I love this. It reminds me of It's a Small World. I love the colors. And I've got one and a portion of a second one done. And I'm stitching this on 40 count. It's a pinkish color from Silk Weaver. I think it's going to be pretty. And then the last thing I'll focus on this week is Promise Me from Lizzie Kate. I'm stitching this for my older son who has a job and already found him another job because he didn't like the first job, so yay. And I've gotten that much done. So lots of neat projects to work on this week. I cleaned up my craft room a little bit. I was supposed to wait until I caught up with all my textbook stuff, but I didn't. I cheated and worked on my craft room one day. got a lot of work to catch up on, but I also needed a break. So I love to organize my craft room. So I spent some time Friday after Thanksgiving pulling everything out of the closet, all that was on the floor, and kind of going through and finding things that I need to work on. So instead of starting any new projects other than cross stitching, because I can start those things if I want, because I make up my rules, but I want to kind of look at what I have started and work on it. So yesterday, Saturday, I did cross stitch, but then I spent some time crocheting. I spent some time knitting, and I actually spent a little bit of time doing some applique work. So I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to go, let's see, can I pause it? Let's see. Okay, so I paused it so I could go and get some stuff to show you other than cross-stitching what I've been working on. So the beginning of the year, while my dad was in the hospital, I decided I needed a project to work on that I could work on without very good light. And so I taught myself to knit. And done pretty well. So this is a scarf that I've been knitting, and I've been working on it all year because I don't do a lot of knitting, but I did pick a cabling project as my first project. So I'm about 4 or 5 rounds left to finish because I'm not buying another skein of yarn, but that's going to be my first knitting project. So I'm almost finished. I have this much yarn left. So ladies, what do you think? Maybe 2 more, I don't know, 2 more rounds? We'll see. And then I also started crocheting about 5 years ago, and I'm not very good at it, but I wanted to make these little angels. So this is a little pattern. And I did this last night while watching Flosstube, but you just make this little dress, and then I come back and I put wings on it. So that's the next step. And then you just slip it over a clothespin and makes a little clothespin angel. So I made that. And I've got, you know, this much of this yarn left because I'd made these one year for a Christmas exchange with my sisters. And I just want to use up that yarn, that thread, and get that out of my craft closet. And then one other project I worked on yesterday that's not cross stitch is another crochet. I follow a scientist, you know, I'm a nerd, and he always posts pictures of different organisms, and he posted a picture of these bugs that were vibrant blue, green, and black. And I was like, those are beautiful. I need to make an afghan. So I went and bought the thread, and these are almost exactly the colors of these bugs. So this is how vibrant they are. But so I'm making this little lap afghan, you know, pretty long. And I'm just going to, it's going to be a big field of blue, and then just on the other end, I'm going to put the same kind of stripe. But I worked on that. I got about 3 rows done yesterday. So, well, I can hear my husband coming downstairs, which means the puppy's coming downstairs too. So that is just about everything. Just want to remind you that you can visit my Etsy store. I've been buying a lot of stuff for kind of stocking my Etsy store. Essentially, I go to the distributors and pick out all the things that I would love to stitch, and then I post them on my Etsy store. So check out my Etsy store at Jen's Stitching Niche. I've been having a lot of fun with that. And of course, if there's something that you want that's not there, just ask me and I can see if I can get that for you. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope everybody survived Black Friday. And I hope to have another video up in a couple of weeks. Now that the semester's over, I should have a more reasonable schedule. So, and if I get a chance, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to add some pictures. I'm going to try that this time. If our cookies, Teresa and I make cookies that are presentable, I'll add some pictures of those at the end as well. So, otherwise, I will continue to watch everybody's Flosstube. I watched Flosstube all day yesterday. Enjoyed listening to Renee and Priscilla and Chelsea and lots and lots and lots of Kindred Stitcher. I watched several of hers yesterday. So thank you very much for making great videos, and thanks for commenting and being so sweet as a community. See you soon. Bye. Hey, I just wanted to add a little bit to the video. I was going to do pictures, but apparently I can't do that. I wanted to show you the ornament I got from Yvonne at the retreat in Sevierville/Pigeon Forge. Isn't that adorable? I mean, she did such a good job, and even the back is cute. So I love, love, love that little cardinal. And then I also wanted to show you the results of our cookie. We did okay. Teresa's much better at it. This is the one that I'm most proud of. Teresa keeps telling me it was our first time and we'll get better. Her cookies were much prettier. She has more patience. So here's a Christmas tree and one of her stockings. But my sister came by and we had some that we considered the ugly ones. We let her have one, and she said that our present looked like a piece of cheese toast. So thanks, Bridget. The other thing is that I had a question from Robin Bradley about the storage of my floss, and I had mentioned it previously, but I use a master set of floss. I don't put floss in each project. I have too many projects to do that, but I do have the DMC, so I keep this by my stitching spot in my living room, and then all of my fancy floss I have in a basket. So I have lots of it. I've been collecting it for a while, but I just have it on these thread drops and have them organized by Gentle Arts, things like that. And then I just keep this by my stitching spot and pull the threads that way. So yeah, it's a mess, but it makes me happy. It works for me. That's the way I do it. So I think that was everything that I needed to update. My hair looks crazy today. But if you have any questions, just leave a comment below. And again, if you have any advice on how we can do a better job on our cookies, we're more than willing to listen. Teresa's better at it. She's much more patient. I got bored about halfway through. I think it's something that I need to practice on more. And I need to get some better the coloring for the icing. This one was pretty good. Most of the other ones were not so great. So, but thank you to Teresa for being patient with me going through that. So until I talk to you again, hopefully in about a week, maybe 2 weeks, I'll record another video. Enjoy your stitching. Stay warm. See you later.